out here in Millersville, Georgia. Just got to the Dodge Chrysler Jeep. I got the call from my good friend, Wes, who is the general manager here. So I'm about to get ready to go and fire up their sales team. It's an amazing opportunity to just reach them. This is an industry that faces so many challenges. You know, everything from just facing the objections, hearing the no's, and having to get up every single day. You know, sometimes facing burnout. They have to have the right mentality, have the right approach every single time that they step into this building. So I'm fired up for this opportunity to take the principles and the lessons that I've learned and deliver it to them in a way that helps them to finish out this year strong. So let's go knock it out.
You're gonna hear a lot of things that I say, but I think you need to hear it from someone that's actually succeeded by doing what it takes to succeed. So, with all due, Rennie Curran.
All right. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
All right.
Good. I'm fired up, man, to be here right now. Anytime I get an opportunity to share with any group, man, it's a blessing because I've had such a long journey. Just like all of you guys sitting right here, I know if I have a chance to talk to you guys have overcome challenges. You guys have been through so much in your life to get in that seat right now. I know you guys are all sitting down looking clean and you got your fresh cut and whatnot, but we all go through different challenges in life, man, and I'm blessed and honored because I have this relationship with Wes. He actually hit me up 3 days ago, believe it or not. And I don't do this for anybody. Just get up and just come out and speak without the proper preparation and whatnot. But because of the relationship we have that goes back to University of Georgia, I was like, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do it for y'all. You know, because I really believe in what you guys are doing. I learned about the different challenges you guys face. And I was like, let me come out here and see if I can reach you guys. And just going back to what Wes mentioned, as far as how I got my car, man, that was my dream. Getting my Dodge Challenger, that was something I always wanted, man. I remember when that thing came out, I was like, man, one day I'm gonna be able to get that. And I just dreamed and I imagined, I had that vision that I was gonna have an all blacked out Dodge Challenger. My family's from Liberia, I'm gonna tell y'all more about them. But I'm gonna have Liberian Dream in the headrest. Like I just pictured it in my head. Picture perfect. And then I was gonna get it after I left University of Georgia. And sure enough, met Wes. You know, I would come up, I don't know if you remember Wes, but I would come up during my time at UGA long before I could even afford it. And I would test drive the Challenger and just joyride and just imagine myself being able to get one day. And so all those memories are in my head, and just long before then, guys, before I ever put this jersey on, before this dream ever came true, I was right where a lot of you guys are right now. I just was a kid who had a dream. And just to give you a background on me, both my parents were Liberian immigrants who came to this country. My mom came to this country with $10 in her pocket. Her hopes, her dreams, her aspirations. Yeah, she came on scholarship to Emory. And so that's how we got here to this country. My father came, and my father was a guy who did not meet his father until he was 24 years old. His mother, my grandmother, was an amputee. So she lost her leg in a major accident. She was a midwife, so she delivered babies in like a rural village. You talking about, y'all think Milledge's country? Milledgeville's country? This is like middle of nowhere. Like nothing, like 10 o'clock, they got generators that run the electricity. 10 o'clock, that thing go out, pitch black. So you talking about a remote village in West Africa. That's where my family came from. So my dad came to this country, bought into a shoe repair franchise, and he worked 12 hours a day. And so at a young age, that's all I saw was their hard work. Their home country of Liberia was going through a civil war during the time that I was born. So all I saw was how they worked, and they came back home and they sent their money back to Liberia to help their family. The sacrifices that they made, they were selfless people, humble people. They taught me about just being a servant. They taught me about faith. So many things that impact my life right now. And so when it came to the football field, I knew where I came from. I knew what I represented, right? And the thing that set me apart, guys, because what's to tell you, I was not supposed to play at University of Georgia. I was not supposed to play at the NFL. And the thing that set me apart was very well the same things that will set you apart in this industry. The number one thing was my mindset. The conversation that I had with myself every single day. Because as I said before this ever came, there was, man, I heard a million times that I was too short. I didn't even play linebacker when I got to high school. I played running back. So my position actually got switched. And I remember I got to that moment that we all face in life when we hit that wall, right? Things aren't going the way we want it and we ready to quit, or we ready to just throw in the towel, or we just get frustrated, we get burnt out. And I remember at that moment, this was like, I was 13, 14 years old. I went to my Little League coach. She was like a second father to me. This is the man who took me to my first Georgia game. This is the man who paid for my training. All that. And I know we all got people like that, right, in our lives who blessed us, right? Who spoke on our behalf, who given us the opportunity. I remember when I got switched to running back and I was about to quit, I went to him and he told me something that I will never forget. He said, Rennie Curran, I want you to focus on what you can control. Focus on what you can control. And for me, that meant my mindset. That meant my attitude. That meant my leadership abilities. That meant my character, how I treated people, regardless of how they treated me, regardless of how they responded to me. That's what control what you can control meant, and that stuck with me my whole entire life. And so what did I do when it came to the football field, man? I got out there, they put me in one position, and I was hitting, y'all ever seen Waterboy?
Yeah.
I was hitting every single thing moving. And at that point, I set a standard for myself. I set a new norm for myself. I made a personal creed with myself that I was going to hit everything, every single thing moving. I was either going to be by the ball or I was going to be making every single play. That's what I told myself. For you, what does that mean? What is your personal creed? What is your personal norm? What is that standard that you operate at, that no matter what is going on around you, this is who I am. This is what I'm about to do every single day. It doesn't matter how I'm feeling, right? What is your personal creed as a salesperson or whatever position you have? What is your personal creed as a father, as a mother, as just a general person? What is your level of how you operate, right? Most of us don't have that set for ourselves, that standard that we set. So I'm asking you right now, you got to decide on that. That's what got me there, was just saying that this is it. This is how I'm going to operate. This is who Rennie Curran is going to be, and ain't nothing going to change. So it didn't matter who we were playing. It didn't matter the opponent. It didn't matter the challenge. I was going to meet the expectations that I set for myself. It didn't matter what anybody else said. And, you know, I could tell you every single newspaper article that came out where they say Rennie Curran undersized this, even UGA. I remember going to UGA and I would have my Timberland boots on and my thick hoodie on just so I could look a little bit better. I told myself I was going to do whatever. Weight room, I'm putting on, if coach says 200 pounds, I'm putting on 225. If it's squat, if it's 300 pounds, I'm putting on 335. I'm going over above the level of whatever somebody else expects of me. And it's not even about pleasing them. It's not about making anybody else happy. It's about what I know I have inside me, right? It's about those expectations that I set for myself. And so that was number one, just my mindset and the creed that I set. The next thing, guys, as I got to University of Georgia, as I became a household name, all those things, I realized that when I made it, when I achieved success, that everybody else was tied to it. That my family, my community, all the people like my Little League coach, like my teachers, all the people that helped me get into that position, they were all now a part of my success. One of the biggest things that changed my life and changed the perception of what I do is the fact that when I made it, I started hearing from other young kids that, man, who were considered undersized by their coach. Maybe their coach switched their position and told them they couldn't do it, right? And now these kids reach out to me like, man, maybe if Rennie Curran made it, maybe I got a chance. And I tell you guys that little lesson is to say that somebody is looking at you to succeed. Somebody is looking at you as an example, right? I talked to both of you guys before we started. You guys have overcome ridiculous circumstances, right? And now that you overcome that, there is somebody else who's in that same position. And by seeing you doing what you do, by knowing that you even exist, you give them hope. So you guys have to see yourself as bigger than just your title. When I was at University of Georgia, I saw myself as, it wasn't just about making plays. It wasn't just about numbers. It wasn't just about statistics. I knew what I represented. I knew the hope that I brought to somebody else's life by what I did, by how hard I went. So if you guys are here and all that defines you is just selling a car and just hitting a number, guys, that's not sustainable. That's not a sustainable why. I remember the most powerful moment in my life was when I was able to take my whole entire family back to Liberia. My parents hadn't been back home in 20 years, and by the sacrifices that I made, I was able to do that for them. I was able to, like, my family was struggling, y'all. Dad's check, by the time I got out of UGA, Dad's checks was getting garnished. Mom was paying all the bills for years. And I was just tired of seeing my family struggle. I was tired of it. Like, you gotta get sick and tired of just mediocrity and just getting by. And that's where I was. And I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Absolutely, yes.
You just gotta get fed up. I had my little girl. She was about just as small as her right there when I left UGA. So I had my little girl after my freshman year. So like life was real. And I had that opportunity, and I remember, like I said, the most powerful moment in my life was when I took my family back and we got to my mother's village. And no lie, it was over like 100+ people that were just my family that I had never met. It was like a movie. So we celebrating, they're throwing rice, like we dancing. And in the middle of all this celebration, I look over far into the distance, right? And I just see about 20 to 30 kids all running around playing soccer. Some of the most, gifted athletes that I've seen. Some of them had 8-packs. They running around barefoot. Some of them had flip-flops. They running around the soccer, the goalie had latex gloves to defend the goal. And I was thinking to myself, like, man, like, that could have been me. The only difference between me and those young kids is that my mom came to this country on scholarship. Like, that's it. And as I saw them and as they saw me, they all came up to me. One of them had a Georgia jersey on. And I could see the hope in their eyes that they saw me and that they all of a sudden knew that what their life could be. And so I'm here to tell you, like, what do you represent for somebody else, right? Because your job means something. Just who you are, it means something to somebody in your community. And if that doesn't get you fired up to come in here every day and represent a certain standard, I don't know what will. How many of you guys have kids in here? Right, just about everybody. So you know what I'm talking about. My little girl is 10 years old right now, and I can't tell her about working hard if I don't represent that. I can't tell her about being a good person if I don't represent that. I can't tell her about respect and about honesty and integrity and about not cutting corners if I don't represent that. That's taught me, all I need to know about leadership is having my daughter. Because she challenges me to be who I say I want to be, right? Who I say I am. And so understanding what you represent, and that brings me to my last point, is having a mission for what you do. Like having a powerful mission for what you do will completely set you apart, guys. Even after I made it to Georgia, made it to the NFL, like life was still tough. That's one of the things we don't realize or that we don't think about is the fact that, you know, we think of life like the movies, right? If we just hit this number, if we just get to this place, everything's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be like the movies. We're gonna, you know how in the movies they ride off into the sunset. The problem has been solved. Everything's all good. End credits start rolling. You leave the movie theater feeling good, right? Life don't work like that. So even after I made it to the league, after my second year in the league, we got a new coaching staff. I get cut. I'm back home at the crib. I'm at a place where I never ever thought I would be. And at this point, it became about my mission. When I had to go 8 months without hearing a phone call, but I still had to train by myself. My teammates playing every Sunday. I'm looking at the TV screen like, dang, why am I not playing right now? But I still got to go. Imagine being a salesman, but you ain't getting no commission for 8 months. You trying to sell a product, ain't nobody buying, but you still got to believe that that product's going to sell. Imagine that. That's where I was. And at this moment, I had to have a mission that was bigger than myself. that made me believe that, like, man, tomorrow is the day that this is going to come. That's when I developed a lot of the mentality that I have right now. And my number one mission, of course, was my daughter. My daughter I told myself that if I don't grind, somebody else is going to take that food off her table. And I'm not about to let that happen. I'm not about to let that happen. Like, what is your mission? What is your fuel that drives you every single day? That's another thing. Your fuel is important. What do I mean when I'm talking about fuel? Just like that car, if you lift up that hood, right, and you check what's inside that system, you know that you can't just put any type of fuel in there, right? If you try to put water in there, what's going to happen? If you try to put oil in there, any type of regular oil, it's going to be dysfunctional, right? So when I talk about fuel, I'm talking about the source from which you live your life. A lot of us are fueled. We are fueled by greed. Some of us are fueled by revenge, fueled by anger. Some of us are fueled by just wanting to be validated, right? I'm telling you that you have to have the right type of fuel. Let love be your fuel. Compassion be your fuel. Courage be your fuel. Live life from that point. I'm telling you, it will change everything in your life, because if you live in your life and your source is just wanting more and wanting more and wanting to consume, guys, it's not sustainable. Eventually you will be burnt out. And I know that's the problem that you guys face, right? It's just that constant burnout. And that's why you have to make sure that your fuel is something pure. Just like there's certain cars that have to run on premium in order to operate at a certain level, you have to make sure that your fuel is that same premium, right? So making sure that your source is faith. That's the source that you draw from. That's the source that keeps you sustained every single day, so that no matter what challenge you face, no matter how your day is going, you know where your strength comes from. That's what I have to remind myself every single day. And when it comes to making major decisions, I have to ask myself, okay, what is my source? What is my fuel? Where am I drawing from? Am I making this decision from a place of fear, or am I making this decision from a place of faith? Right? So continue to ask yourselves that, guys. And last but not least, man, just continue to strive to improve yourself every single day. Trust the process. Trust the process, guys. I know every opportunity doesn't look the way that you want it to. Every single day isn't going to look the way you want it to, but continue to trust and perfect your craft. Perfect your craft. That's one thing I learned as a linebacker. Being undersized, I knew that there were certain things like I had no control over whatsoever. But if I focus on efficiency, if I focus on what my coaches taught me, my technique, and guys, I was going against guys who were 6'8", 300 plus pounds. Monsters, guys. Like, they could eat some of y'all, saying, like, you know what I mean? Like, someone could fit through that door. And so when you talk about, for me, having to trust in that process, it was every little small detail. Every single thing mattered. My hand placement, my steps, everything that I did had to be on point. And I lived and breathed and just ate perfection. Everything was about chasing perfection. And it didn't matter how much success I had. It didn't matter if I was the player of the year, the defensive, player of that week. I was looking at how can I improve just a little bit more? How can I continue to get better? And that's the thing I loved about the game that we don't have in real life, because every single day, it don't matter if I had a great performance, a bad performance, guess what? I'm in that film room with my coach, somebody holding me accountable. Who do you have that holds you accountable, right? It don't matter if I had the best game of my life, they were looking at, oh, you stepped wrong right here. So next week I got something to work on, right? And I know you guys have tools and people who are providing you with training and different things. Are you taking that to heart? Are you using every single resource that you have to your maximum ability, right? And not just coming here and just putting on this mask and trying to be your best self. When you leave here, what are some of the things that you're working on? What types of books are you reading? What videos are you watching? How are you feeding your mind? These are all the things that you have to do to really survive out here. You can't just step in this building and just think like success is not no light switch that when you walk into a certain building, you can just flip it on and everything is great. It has to be transferable. It has to translate into other areas of your life. You can't just come here and just be a great salesman and you go home and you lacking as a parent. You lacking as a person in the community. It has to translate. It has to become part of who you are. Even though I'm not playing linebacker anymore, guess what? I still wake up every single day and I'm still hunting. I'm still trying to make plays. I still have that championship mindset. So just because I ain't wearing that jersey no more, doesn't mean it changes. I have a certain standard that I live by. And I'm here to tell you the same thing. You have to have that standard that you operate by, whether you wearing that sales uniform or whether you at home. It has to be who you are. So my last point for you is, man, be a game changer. Don't just be here and just be like anybody else, man. Time is going by so fast. You only got one life. And I know you guys just don't want to be like anybody. I know you guys don't want to be mediocre. No, who wants to, like when you were a kid, did you just dream about being mediocre and just going through the motions? No. You wanted to be something ridiculous, right? I wanted to be Batman. Like I wanted to be Superman. I wanted to live cars, like just do some crazy stuff. And so remember that time in your life. Remember where you once were, your mindset, how things just, nothing was impossible, right? Remind yourself of that when you step in this building, guys. And the beauty of it, like I truly believe in an abundance mindset. Abundance. So that means, man, you are just one person away, one relationship away, one conversation away from your whole entire life changing. Just one. And I've lived it, guys. I've lived it. I've seen it with my own eyes. You guys might look around and you might think, man, are we in this small town? Ain't that many opportunities out here? Nah. Have an abundance mindset. It could be one person that walks in this building right now. You have one conversation with them and it changes your whole, not just your life, but your whole entire generation's life. Just like that. And that person exists right here in this city. But if you don't have that abundance mindset, if you have a scarcity mindset, you looking around and you just thinking, man, what am I doing here? This is dead end job, whatever. That person gonna come right in this door, and guess what? Because you're not in that place, you're gonna miss out on them. And those opportunities are few and far between. So I'm here to tell you, have the right mindset, have that game changer mentality that when I walk in here, man, things about to be different. When I leave here, when I go back to my family's never gonna be the same. I'm gonna be a trailblazer. I'm gonna be the difference maker. I'm gonna be the playmaker for my family, for my community. I'm more than just a salesman. This not the end of my life. This is just the beginning, right? This is just a vehicle. That's how I looked at my game at football. Like this was just a vehicle, guys. That's all it was. God gave me this temporary platform, and now my life is so much bigger than just this. And I'm here to tell you that where you are right now, this is just the beginning, right? Everything that you're going right now is teaching you tools, teaching you skill sets that eventually you're going to be able to use in another area of your life. So guys, once again, be a game changer in every single area of your life. Operate at a certain standard. Have that mindset. Have that personal creed with yourself. Before I ever stepped my foot on the field at UGA, high school, like every single level of my life, I've had to operate at the level of my vision, right? So before I got to that moment where I was a starter, before I got to that moment where I was the player of the year, all those accolades, long before that, I was a bench warmer for weeks. I was a guy who the coach wasn't acknowledging me. I wasn't meeting the numbers I wanted to meet. Like life did not look good. I went back home and life was tough. And in those moments, at every single level, this was high school, this was college, this was pros, I had to think about my vision, right? I had to think about being that starter, being that household name, being in that position to help my family. What did that look like? Down to the very detail. And then I had to take a step back. After I thought about my vision, what does my vision require of me to do right now? So what type of person do I have to be right now to make this vision a reality? Does that make sense? So I asked myself, if I want to be that top level performer, if I want to lead the SEC in tackles, what time do I need to be waking up in the morning? How much extra time do I need to spend in the film room? How hard do I need to go in the weight room? How do I need to relate to my coaches? What techniques do I need to be working on? And I started immediately at that moment, I started operating at that standard right then and there, way long before it happened. So guess what? The only thing, once I made up my mind to do that and I started operating at that standard, the only thing that separated me from my vision was time. That's literally it. And so I tell you guys to say that wherever you're trying to get to, if you're trying to be the CEO of Dodge, whatever, ask yourself, if I'm gonna be the CEO of Dodge, who do I have to be right now to eventually get there to where time is the only thing that separates me from it? And start becoming that person right now. So I just want to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. All right. Definitely. Thank you guys. So what's going on, everybody? I just wrapped up speaking to the sales team here at the Dodge Chrysler Jeep in Millersville, Georgia, and awesome experience, man. Was able to really talk to them about just the mindset, the perseverance, and just everything that it takes to really set yourself apart as a game changer in the automotive industry. Amazing opportunity. I've known Wes, who is the general manager here, since my days at University of Georgia, and he's always been just a great friend. He's been somebody who, you know, I can always lean on, and it's all about that relationship. So he reached out to me. He's like, I need you to come speak to my team, and I was able to come out here and do that today. So now that we're done, I'm about to go in and test drive the new 2018 Dodge Charger. So it's got all the bells and whistles. So I'm excited to test this thing out, see what it's about.